Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today on a quite miserable Monday morning for me. It's very early morning here, but I don't know where you are. Listen, a miserable day today weather-wise and a miserable day yesterday performance-wise, result-wise. Some might argue, some think it was a good performance that just didn't quite get the points. For me, I just can't ever say a performance is good where you create zero clear-cut chances in a game and concede the two diabolical goals that we did. And for me, as the title suggests, for me, Ange Postecoglou must go back to basics. Whether I want him as the manager, whether I don't, whether you do, whether you don't, whatever, he's the manager. And quite simply, he needs to go back to basics. Now, you can sit here and go, oh, that's your opinion, Saba. Well, it's the facts. It's the facts. Everything about this club for a very long time now has stagnated. I know that people want to put this rhetoric that we're going like this. People want to say things are getting better and we're a good football team. But the results, the goals conceded, the chances created, everything doesn't suggest what a majority of the fan base are actually saying is really attacking front-footed football. When in theory, it actually, when you break it down, it's chaos. It's chaos football. Even when we flood forward in numbers, it's once we've conceded and everybody is kind of everywhere on the pitch, there doesn't seem to be any kind of formulaic process to what we are doing. And for me, where I struggle with this is I don't think that the players are as bad as we're seeing. Do I think the players are going to win the league? No. Do I think the players have a God-given right to finish third, fourth? No. Do I think the players are better than the number of goals we're conceding and the output we're getting? I do. I truly do believe that. I know people won't believe me saying that because I'm quite critical of some players, but I genuinely don't believe that a manager that is able to concentrate on the defensive side of the game as well as the attacking side would have the team this poorly set up. Now, let me get into this because people will, I know what, I get it with my videos. They are 50% loved by people, 50% hate them. I get it, right? I get it because I'm saying things about the club that everyone loves. And sometimes those things that I'm saying don't paint the club or the manager or the players in a good light. And I know that that's perceived as negative. That's absolutely fine. Unfortunately, facts aren't positive or negative. Facts are facts. And for a long time now, let's look at the basics that Ange needs to get back to. For a long time now, we can't defend. We simply can't defend. Anytime a ball goes to our back line, a team puts us under pressure, there are panic stations. That is the hallmark of a team that aren't comfortable in the system. That is the hallmark of a defense that don't know what they're supposed to be doing, where they're supposed to be, and what is the end goal. This is the problem. So let's have a look at Tottenham. And by the way, yesterday I was highly critical of players like Christian Romero, and I just want to put this out there. I'm not blaming Christian Romero for both goals. I think he's part of the problem. I'm not blaming him. I'm just putting forward the case that this guy is absolutely raved about. He's world class. He's brilliant. He's superb. Fine. I'm going to judge him against that then. The same way people will judge world class players. Let's see the proof. And unfortunately, what I saw yesterday for both goals, I don't know what Romero was doing. I didn't see any form of busting a gut to get back and help out the defence. And what I saw was a guy that has relied so heavily on Mickey van der Ven bailing him out and being the one that runs him behind and saves Spurs defensively that he just completely neglected his duties. Now, that's just Romero. For me, Porro, a doggy, completely neglect their defensive duties. Now, this begs the question. Is this that these guys are neglecting their duties because they're not capable of doing it? Or is it a case that these are the tactics that have been provided to them by the manager and the blame comes away from them? Either way, something's got to give. If it is the defensive unit that is not cohesive and understanding each other, Ange needs to sort that out. Now, let me give you an example. If we look at this yesterday, people can interpret this picture in two different ways. And what we're doing here is we're concentrating on the Spurs back four. Okay. So I've seen posts where people are saying, oh, Romero's switched off. Romero is facing the wrong way. Romero's not in tune with the other three defenders. On the flip side, what I've also seen is people saying, well, Romero played the line perfectly. It's the other defenders that weren't in tune with him. So therefore, he's not the problem. It was Dragoshin, it was Porro, it was Udogie. They were playing the players on side, and therefore the goal was their fault. Now, whichever way you look at it, I'm putting blame on all of them, by the way. Whichever way we look at that, the concerning thing in that aspect is the defense isn't in tune with each other. They are not aligned with each other. And I don't mean in a straight line. I mean, they are not on the same wavelength. If they don't know when to go or when to stay as a unit, then there's something not being worked on in training. If it is Romero's fault and he switched off, that's a worry. If it is Dragoshin, Porro and Udogie and it's their fault because they've started running back when they shouldn't have, that is also a worry. But all of this comes about because we are so high in that line. Again, look at this line. This line is shocking. No one should be defending that high, especially when you don't have a number 6 that sits in front of that back four and protects. Now, that leads me on nicely. So again, before people say, oh, you're blaming Romero for the goal, I'm not. I think the whole defence is at fault for that goal, as well as the midfield and as well as Ange's tactics. But somewhere along that line, you have to say, well, Dragoshin, why did you play them on side? But Romero, why didn't you track back? What's Romero jogging back? All the hallmarks of someone who's lost interest. He completely lost interest. Udogie constantly caught out of position. So is Porro. So again, I'm asking the question, is it Ange? Is it the players? Is it both? Either way, it's not changing from game to game. That is where, as a football fan, from my side of things, I like to look at the aspects of a game. I don't like to just go, oh, I'm Spurs, everything's great, we're amazing. I like to look at it and go, okay, but why has that not worked? And what is the manager doing to implement change within that tactic? And at the moment, since he's joined, we've not seen any change of the way we defend. We're not seeing any tightening up of those screws. We're not seeing the back four ever in sync with each other. But the problem is, half the fan base will turn around and go, oh my God, Van der Ven and Romero are the best centre-back partnership. Oh my God, Porro's the most improved player. How good is Udogie? Cool. And I'm not suggesting any of those players are bad. But if this is true, if they're all so good, why do we keep conceding? So it's either them, or it's the manager, or it's both. So we can't have the praise up here for Romero, Van der Ven, Porro and Udogie, the praise up here for Ange Postecoglou and his tactics, whilst conceding these silly goals game after game after game. Something has to give. And let's put it this way, any club now about to play Spurs, I'll say now, any club about to play Spurs, watch these videos. They watch these videos relentlessly. Top clubs do this. And we all know what ball. We all know the two balls that kill Spurs. It's the ball, like yesterday, from Jolinton, straight through the middle of the defence. Or it's the ball over the top down the channels. If any team plays those two balls, we know we're in trouble. And we've done nothing to negate that. All summer, clearly nothing has changed. Lots of people, I've had people come on my podcast and tell me, you watch what they've been working on in the summer. What? Nothing's changed. We're conceding silly goals. And so far, let's be honest, we've played the worst team in the league, probably in Everton. Leicester City, who are one of the three favourites to get relegated. And then we've played Newcastle United, who, let's be fair, weren't in great form and had most of their back four missing. So the worry for me is if those clubs are able to find a way, not Everton are poor, but Leicester found a way in the second half to get in behind us. Newcastle didn't even play well yesterday. Newcastle fans are admitting it themselves. Carl, we weren't that good, but we won. We weren't that good and still beat you. So nothing is changing in that respect. The facts, the stats, nothing is saying that we're going like that. And that's the concern for me as a fan. The concern for me is I keep hearing project, process, give it time. Rome wasn't built in it. Fine. No one's expecting. I've sat here and said, I don't expect Spurs to win a trophy this season. I would love to. I don't expect it. But you've got to see those small incremental improvements. And at the moment, when I'm asking people what those improvements are, I'm not really getting an answer from anyone. I'm not. And I know I've seen a lot of people, I've seen some YouTubers post about me on X today say, oh, Salah cares more about being right than Spurs being better. No, it's the complete opposite. I want to be wrong. I want this manager to go back to basics, treat the defensive side of the game with the respect that it deserves at this level of elite football. I want him to go, it's not working game to game. How are we going to tweak this? Just because my analysis of Spurs, right, isn't that we're amazing, doesn't mean I don't want us to win. But I'll say it again. Just saying nice, positive, fluffy things doesn't make it true. I can sit here and do videos and go, oh my God, Spurs have had a great window. I want to win the league. Oh my God, we're much better than Arsenal and Liverpool and City. You would all know I'm lying out my back teeth. I'd be laughed at the way that other people are laughed at by opposing fans because we're in denial. Now, what I get a lot is people go, yeah, but Sava, people just see it differently to you. Sure, but the facts don't see it differently to me. That's the point. The facts are we are not moving that way. We're not defending better. We're not better in midfield, and we're not better going forward. So the question I'm asking is, what needs to happen at Spurs for the penny to drop with Ange that he's got to tweak? What needs to happen at Spurs for the fan base to stop getting so bloody carried away because we beat Everton? Again, just some of these facts for people, because I know that, again, people say, oh, but these stats don't have context. I don't know how facts over 9 months don't have context. In the last 9 months, we've won 13 games, lost 13 games, and drew 6. Okay. Now that form averaged out would be for a team that averages 8th to 9th place in the league every season. Now, I'm not saying we're going to finish 8th or 9th. I'm saying our form for 9 months is suggesting that that's where we are positioned as a team. Now, people have a go at me. People always say, why did you leave out the first 10 games of last season? Well, the reason I leave out the first 10 games of last season is because after the manager's bounce, after people didn't know what to expect from Spurs, that moment there, that first defeat to Chelsea is the moment where you go, right, we've lost now. What do we do? Now it's not all sunshine and roses. What do Spurs do? How will we react? How do we cope with teams now that have studied how to beat us? And the answer is not very well. The answer is from that moment, that's the first week of November, we are positioned 8th or 9th in the league. Now, yeah, we finished 5th, and fair play. Good job from Ange, finishing 5th. I thought we'd finish 5th. We did. But the form is this worrying form. This trend is continuing whilst people are, I want to say telling lies, but I just think it's denial, are telling lies and in denial about things going like that. We had a great window and we're stronger. I mean, we had a great window and we're stronger. Look at this back. Look at this 9. Look at that bench. Forster, Spence, Davis, Devine, Gray, Bergvall, Johnson, Werner. I mean, the only one there that you would say is a top player or a very good footballer is Rodrigo Bentancur. But we've got fans going, oh, we're stronger now, so we got rid of Deadwood. Now, yes, you've still got to have Solanke come back into that. So it means one of those players drops to the bench. But 2 or 3 good players on a bench isn't a strong squad. So again, it's these, I don't want to use the word lies. I don't think people are lying. I just think people really shut their eyes to facts. So for me, I don't think we're a million miles away from being a really good team. And that's the frustrating thing from my point of view as a fan. My point of view is if he shores up that defence, if he drops that defence 10, 15 yards, if he had brought in a number 6, so he doesn't play with a 6. If he had brought in a number 6, somebody that can sit in front of that back 4 and really take the pressure off, that can organise, that can be that kind of Carrick type player, that kind of quarterback role where they get the ball, they set the tempo, they set the tone. These are small tweaks that I think Spurs had to make, and we're not, and we didn't, and we don't seem to be doing it. We've seen our midfield is not good enough. Time and time again, whatever anyone wants to say, Papa Sarr's an average footballer, Basuma's an average footballer. They'll have good games every now and then, but top players are consistent. And these guys, for years, there's just no consistency. So what do we go out in the market and do? We buy 2 18-year-old midfielders. Now, one 18-year-old midfielder, cool. Yeah, get Bergvall in. But we've gone and got 2 in. Neither of them start the game. It just feels to me that there's small tweaks that can be made to make us a really good football team. And then when you break this down further, we did nothing in the midfield to improve this summer. We did nothing in the back line to improve. We've done nothing to change the tactics to improve. And up from Solanke coming in, yeah, he had a good year last year, but his stats over the last 4 or 5 seasons are no better than Richarlison's. I think he will get 16, 17 league goals. I'm not knocking him. He will score goals. But if that's the one thing Spurs have done in a year to improve Tottenham Hotspur, it's truly, truly worrying. So I refute that I don't want success for my club. I've supported this club for 40 years. I refute this when I see people making up nonsense that I just want to be right. I don't want Spurs to win. It's crazy. As a 2 or 3-year-old, I was taken to the UEFA Cup final that Tottenham won. As a 2 or 3-year-old, whatever I was at the time, can't remember any of it, but that's where I was taken. Right, the 91 FA Cup final, the 87 FA Cup final. I was there. I was at these places. The 99 FA Cup final, a League Cup final, the 2008, I was there. Why would I not want my team to succeed? Why would I not want my team to be better? Just because I'm not one of these people on YouTube, on X, just saying lovely things doesn't mean I don't love the club as much as anyone else. I'm just looking at it from a critical thinking point of view rather than the hope and the fluff. And yeah, we all need hope. And I think there is hope there. But Ange must go back to basics. He must go back to basics. We can't defend. I'm seeing people say, oh my God, what a great performance. Just 2 lapses of error. How can it be a great performance when you've had 0 clear-cut chances? Zero clear-cut chances in a game. I didn't make that up. That's the facts that are coming out from all the outlets. 0 clear-cut chances. And do you know what? What cracks me up? I read a report. Well, actually, I think it might have been Perchie told me this morning. This season so far, Spurs have had 7 shots on target at our goal, and 3 have gone in. Now, the worrying thing about that tells you, that in itself isn't terrible, the 7. But how many of them go in is. It tells you that nearly 50% of shots on our goal end up as a goal. That tells you how easy it is to score past Tottenham Hotspur. And that is truly, truly worrying. So again, the positive for me, I don't think we're a million miles away. But with this manager, I do think we're a million miles away. I think the squad is better than what Ange is showing. I don't think the tactics actually suit anyone. They don't suit Maddison. They don't suit Basuma. They don't suit Van der Ven and Romero. They don't suit Udogie and Porro. I don't know who these... the tactics, they don't suit Vicario. This playing out the back, he can't do it. So I want Spurs fans to take a step back and actually have a look and say, what's changed? Before we just say it's changed, before people tell me, I'm seeing posts, Ange is 100% the right man to take us forward. Sure, okay. But quantify that. Why? Why is he? What's he doing? What's he attempting to change, to tweak? What's he doing to show he's the right man to take it forward? Because, as I said, our form suggests since November that we are an 8th, 9th place team. That's not me making it up. That's facts. Our form in our last 12 away games, we've got 2 wins, and that was against Villa, great away win. Sheffield United, who were already relegated. 2 wins in 12 away games. Do you know that averages out over the season at 15 to 16 points from away games? You can't have that. It's not good enough. Something needs to give. And what we can't do is we can't see Ange come out every week and go, well, I thought we deserved it. I thought we played well. We're not taking our chances. This is the forward line that Ange put together. Ange and Lang, they've been coming out in these videos saying they're happy with the window. They put this team together. So, look, I will always feel sorry. 30% of me will always feel sorry for a manager because they're having to work with Levy, of course. But Ange just talked a lot, and he talks a lot about winning and winning in his second season and about him chasing these players in a transfer window, him being happy with a transfer window. So am I not, as a man, meant to hold another man to his word? And I'll give you my word now. If I'm wrong at the end of this season, if I'm wrong and Spurs have got top 4, we've won a trophy, Spurs are brilliant in defence, I'll come on and say, I'm surprised and I'm wrong. I'll come on and say I'm surprised I got it massively wrong. I've got no problem with that. But the problem is I need to see, like many of you will need to see some tweaking from him. You can't keep doing the same thing defensively and then after games saying, but we were the better team. It genuinely doesn't matter. We were the better team v Leicester. We were the better team v Newcastle. And we've taken 1 point from it. You don't get points from being the better team. Now, if yesterday's game was a one-off, the goals we conceded, if it was a one-off, sure. But it's becoming a bit of a regular theme every game, isn't it? The type of goals we concede. So me asking for Ange to go back to basics, is that too much to ask? Does that make me a negative fan saying, please sort out our defence? Please make us a little bit more solid? That doesn't mean playing negative football. This notion that comes out from people that, you can't defend because you didn't want Conte. Just because I didn't want Conte as a manager doesn't mean I don't want a manager that knows how to defend. There is a balance between defending and attacking. It doesn't have to be we're ultra defensive or ultra attack. It doesn't. There's a world that exists in there. Look, is it the end of the world at Tottenham? No. As I've said, I think we're going to finish 7th. I stand by that. I said if at the end of the window I see real big improvements, I'll change it to 5th or 6th. I don't see it at all. I see a lot of people talking about 3rd, 4th, calling me negative. Here's my open invitation to you, and not in an aggressive way. Here's my open invitation to you. If you think I'm that wrong, any other YouTubers, people on YouTube that keep having a pop at, on X that keep having a pop at me, I've got an email address in my bio. I'm happy for you to come on. This is an open invitation. There are many people that I would love to debate. I don't know how to get hold of them because I don't have their details. I would love to have a debate with them. I'd love them to come on and tell me, what am I not seeing? I'd love that. Come on and tell me what I'm not seeing, but not with Pope. I don't want them to come on and go, I think. Come on and tell me with evidence what's changing, what's better. Because this manager at the moment, His win percentage is much worse than Andre Villas-Boas. It's worse than Jose Mourinho. It's worse than Conte. It's the exact same as Tim Sherwood. And again, I'll leave it on this. If what we're seeing from this team right now in the last 9 months was Tim Sherwood, right? If it was Nuno, if it was AVB, everyone would be sitting here right now going, these guys are clueless. They don't know what they're doing. They're out of their depth. But for some reason, Ange seems to be getting this free hit for doing the same thing over and over again. None of these other managers were afforded that. Now, if it's because people don't just want to see managers sacked, fine. But you've got to be critical of the manager when it's the same thing game in, game out. We've got Arsenal coming up next, followed by Brentford. Then we've got games against the likes of Man United, Brighton, Villa, West Ham, Palace, Ipswich and City. It's 9 tough games. Look, for me, it is what it is. I'm not angry. By the way, I'm not angry about what I saw yesterday. I'm expecting that now. And that's what I think people have to get the difference. I'm seeing I see these some YouTubers put together, not Spurs YouTubers, some YouTubers put together a compilation video of fans reacting. And the number of Spurs fans I see that react as though this is a shock, that's the crazy thing for me. I just didn't see it coming. I didn't see that defending coming. I didn't see that goal coming. I didn't see the draw or the defeat coming. Why? That's our form. That's what we're doing week in, week out. So, look, I don't think it's the end of the world. I'll end this by saying a few tweaks, going back to basics. I think Spurs are a very good team. Change the tactics up a bit. I think we could, as I said yesterday, for all those that call me negative, I truly believe with this squad, we should be fourth, right? With this squad, I think we should be fourth, not with this manager. I think if you got in a proper manager that understands the balance between defense and attack, with the defense that we've got, with some of the forwards that we've got, I think there's enough there to definitely be fourth. I just don't think this manager and this tactics make it happen. Guys, girls, thank you for all your support. Hate the fact that it's International Week now. Next game is Arsenal. All I know is this. If we defend like that against Arsenal, they're going to pull our pants down. We know it. We're all going to pretend we don't know it, but we know it. And remember, facts are facts for a reason. Take care, everyone. And as always, go back to basics, Ange, and come on, you Spurs.